So, for those of us who have been staying up to date with some of the new motorcycles that are out there now, Indian released a bunch here in 2025, which I'm an Indian rider. And some of the features that caught my eye the most were, of course, the safety features. And one of the safety features I really appreciated that they put on was a lot of these blind side monitoring systems. So, if there's somebody in your blind spot, that, it would tell you on the dash. For them, I think it tells you right on the mirror. And I was like, well, that's super cool. And something that, a lot of us should possibly consider having on our bikes. It's just, safety because nobody sees us. So the folks over at Innovv actually reached out and asked if I'd want to try out this product. And this is their third eye. And it is literally a blind spot monitoring device that mounts on your bike. Now they make two different versions, both similar, but it really depends on where the lighting takes place. So they have one that looks more like a watch face that sits kind of in the center, and then they have ones that can come out. You can either mount them on your handlebars, on your mirror stems, wherever you kind of want to put them. Anyways, this is it. So first off, this video isn't going to be an installation video because there's tons of those online. You can kind of follow that. But I wanted to show you first what comes in the box. As you can see here, it has a pretty good range, 50 meet, 164 feet. It actually uses a processor to be able to figure out what's kind of going on behind you. So, if you're passing somebody or something like that, that it doesn't really notice it. But if a car is creeping up on you, getting in that spot, then it kind of lets you be aware of it. So up to 64 targets, 150 degrees, wide field of view, high precision, IP67 waterproof. So again, don't drive your motorcycle into the lake because that would be probably a different concern anyways. And they say easy to install. So my hope is that easy to install part is accurate. I think it just kind of mounts to your battery and then you run all the cables. That's my thought. Anyways, this is the box right here. You guys can see that, yes? What does it say? Oh, it says a little. It's well done. Actually, you can see these are the mirror areas that you can put, and that's the actual sensor. But caution, when installing the display, please do not forcefully pull the cables and make sure you have enough length to avoid tearing the cable while the motorcycle's steering. So yeah, of course, if you're going to mount them on your whatever mirror stems or your handlebars, you want to make sure that you flex the actual handlebars to make sure that there's enough cable pull so that you don't damage them. Anyways, that's them, right? So that's the unit. So let's just take that out. My guess is it's all connected, just there for being pretty. So mhm, push down, push down, push down. Anyways, this is the box. So the box is full of electronics. So it may be scary. 100%. That may be scary if you're not someone who's like mechanically or electronically inclined. And for me here, sometimes that's the case, right? Anyways, this all goes in here, and all I'm going to do is push all that in and dump it out in the box. My goodness. Anyways, it's all kind of in this jarble of cables, but it all comes through here. This is the actual, I would say, like the brain of it. Everything looks connected already, which is good. And simply, this is going to sit, under maybe your rear seat, your trunk, whatever you have. That's what's actually looking at everything, right? This you would put underneath your seat. And then, of course, these pieces here, you would run up, and I'll probably put them actually just on my handlebars. So they'll actually make sure that it's like, here's the right side, right? Of the other ones is left side, right? Um, and then, of course, you have your different cables here for it's fused. So for actually your positive and negative to run to your actual battery. So yes, simple. Now I don't have a fuse, like a fuse system that I can tie this into. So I may actually have to run it straight into like the ignition system or the lighting system because I don't want it to run, of course, when the bike's not on. I don't want it to be getting power. So I may have to play with that a little bit. Anyways, you do have some Allen keys, some different stickies, all the adhesives that you possibly need. And of course, you get the actual manual to tell you how to do this. So I'm going to attempt to do this. Uh, it may actually be something that I need some help with. We'll find that out. And the video will continue. Just stay tuned. It'll be installed right away. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, before we head off, I'll just make sure my mic's in the right spot. Before we head off, you'll see I got them mounted. Now, these ones, they say they're mounted or mounted for the mirror, so they would go up like on here. But my mirror is really rounded, not really big. Had to run cables all the way down both sides, which I was not a big fan of. I could have put them here on the bars there. Actually, that wouldn't have been bad, but again, rounded. So I didn't think I wanted that. Plus, I could have fed the cables through here. But because I had this nice big dash, I ended up mounting them here. And I think that actually, is going to be okay. I may have to put some extra sticky on there. I got caught in the rain, and I think the rain kind of did some, pulled some of the stickiness off. Anyways, I have to say, I went on my little 9-day trip, and these are fantastic. I have to say, totally fantastic. We'll just go for a rip here just so you guys can see how they are. And I have to say, because of this placement where I put them here, I got so many people, they'd see the camera in the back and they'd be like, what is that? And I'd be like, well, that is a blind spot monitor, because they all thought it was an actual camera, right? But no. And then they're like, where is it actually mounted? Where do you see that? And because it's here, it almost looks like it's an original, like, OEM type part. It actually fits on there really well. Now, what you'll see, hopefully there is a car behind me. So when we come up to this light here, I'm not going to come up too fast. I want him to kind of catch up to me a bit here. So we'll see if these go off. Now, because he's approaching, they should both go off, because he's not actually in a blind spot. He's actually coming up fairly fast. So let's see if they go off here. There's one light going off, and both. Yes, sir, ma'am. Fantastic, right? Anyways, you know what? A lot of people are going to buy these, of course, as a blind spot monitor, which of course it is, and an emergency for somebody who's coming up too fast on you, right? But I have to say, when I was away for my trip, which if you go to our other video or our other website, you can watch the whole video over there. This actually came in really handy, because we were riding in a group. There was 4 of us, and of course we're riding staggered. So in a staggered formation, depending on if you're in this lane, then there's somebody kind of right here, and if you're over on this side, then there's someone over on this side. And maybe you're coming into a corner, maybe you're just an unfamiliar territory, or maybe you're not necessarily just paying as much attention or whatever, and you kind of weave or whatever, or you try to get out of the way of something. It's nice to know if that other rider that's actually just kind of sitting like right here, if they're actually right there, so that you don't turn into them. Oh, perfect time, car's coming, right? Because you don't want that. Right? Actually, what I'm going to do is get in this lane. This guy's going to probably go past me, so you can... Oh, he's turning. I went out earlier to shoot this exact same video, and my battery died. And I was like, it's the one time I go out, no cars. No cars at all. Anyways, there's a big truck coming up here. Let's just see. I'm going to slow down a little bit. See if he creeps up on me. It should have my little light go off. All right, let's see how far he has to get. He's not too far. We're only doing 55. Come on, guy, get a little faster. I got one guy coming up on me. Lights. So if you come up slow, what you'll notice is the lights don't come on, right? Like from behind you. It's when you have a car. Now this guy should get in my blind spot right away. So we'll see. There he is. See, he's flashing, right? Boom, blind spot. And he is. He's right in that zone right there. You'll notice the car behind me didn't, because they weren't coming up fast enough. Now, if I were to, we'll see if I get up here to a light, right? See a light? It stays on like the whole time, right? Until he actually passes me. So it's nice, because, once he kind of gets into that zone, until he's kind of completely past this, like this area here, the light just stays on. Another car. Very cool. Excellent. right? And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to hit the brakes, right? Which means that car behind me is probably going to come up a little fast. There's one, there's two. They're there flashing, right? Because he came up fast enough on me that the signal detected a car approaching. Again, awesome, right? Because, I'm a firm believer, and I like to think of myself as a very, good rider. I'm a fairly safe rider. I get a little stupid at times, but I try to make sure those are in spots not like here in urban areas where I can get myself in trouble. But I'm a firm believer that every one of these cars that are out on the road, they're out to kill me, right? On a motorcycle. Not that they are out to kill me, but you know what? That's my mentality, is that there's I have to be the one that is paying extra attention because I don't believe they are, right? They're not paying attention, so that means, if I get in an accident with one of those, guess what? I lose, right? I lose that fight, guaranteed. So I usually try to keep my space with cars like this one here, right? Even though he has no signal, he's just kind of stopped wherever he felt like it. So that's one thing to be aware of. Now, the other thing, again, and I just really have to kind of talk about it, is that whole riding with other motorcycles. I was riding earlier today, and you look in your mirror, especially with motorcycles, because they're smaller, right? So I looked in the air and I actually saw a car in my mirror, and then of course I was going to turn, and I looked down, and of course the blind spot's going off, but I was like, well, he seems far for that one going off, so I gave a real good turn back. Sure enough, the little sport bike just sitting beside me, right? Just outside of that, right, where I couldn't see him in my mirror. So very, very handy, and I like the fact too, like when I'm passing other people, it realizes that I'm moving past the vehicle, so it doesn't the light doesn't go off, right? Oops, nope, let's go back. The light doesn't go off, so they have to be passing you, which I think is great, right? None of this them or me passing them. So that is cool. I'll slow down here. Again, you can see that. See, I passed him, it didn't go off, but now if he passes me, there it goes. It goes on. That's crazy, right? It's crazy computing that's going on. I think that's really quite amazing that it can decipher that object if it's coming towards you or if it's coming away from you. I think that's really cool. Supposedly it can detect like 60 something spots or objects or something on the radar that it's watching and detecting. Pretty cool. And I have to say, it detects very well at night. Again, I was riding through my trip nighttime, and these are like really useful because they're bright, right? So if you're riding in your, whatever, it's nighttime, you got your headlights on, car sneaks up there, you are not going to not see that red light flashing in front of you. Like it's very, very, very obvious. It's fairly bright in the daytime, so definitely going to be easy to see at nighttime. Now the other thing is, it does have, you guys can see there's a little horn that should flash. Beep, 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 beep. Yep, front on that side. There's a little volume indicator. So depending on what you want, you can have the sound on, sound off. It beeps through, I think, the CPU console thing that's underneath your seat. That's kind of where it beeps. It's not crazy loud, but like when I'm driving around in town like this, I can hear it. Again, you can turn it off if you don't like it at all, whatever. When I'm driving on the highway and things like that, you really have to be paying attention for it. Like you really have to kind of be like, what was that? Was that dinging? Did something ding? So I keep it on because I really, for me, I find its usability or its usage is definitely for when you and I are riding around in the city, right? Because you know what, if you're on the highway, especially where I live, you may have the odd car pass you. It's really not as if you'll see them coming for kilometers away, before they actually start to overtake you. It's just Where did see this guy? This guy, he crept up on me slowly, and because he crept up on me slowly, the lights didn't go off. So again, he has to approach at a certain speed. So once he kind of gets into radar distance, it monitors how fast he's coming into that radar distance, like coming through it. And if the sensor detects that he's coming through it a certain speed or faster, then the lights start going off. If he's just kind of creeping up on you like this, they're not going to. But what's nice about it is, when I stop at a stop sign, it's red light, whatever, I always position myself in a way, always have my bike in gear so that I have an escape route. Key is to have a good escape route. Come on, you can go by me. Go ahead. No? Nope. Anyways, escape routes are important. So if I see those start to flash and I say, oh, that guy's not stopping, it's fast enough for me to start to see it, go, let the clutch out, take off. So, again, if you have a fight with a car that hits you in the back, chances are you're not going to win. But if you are stopped at a red light and there's a car in front of you and you get rear-ended, the car behind you hits you and knocks you into the car in front of you, I guarantee you you're not going to win, right? That's definitely not a good scenario. So again, when I usually, we'll see if I can see it here, if I can stop. No, these guys are going. Usually what I'll do is I'll actually get into the left part of the lane and I'll kind of have myself angled a little bit to the left, just again enough so that I can get out of the lane if needed. Same thing if I was in the right hand side of the lane, depending, I would have myself, especially on a street that has like a side part, whatever you call them. If there's a way for me to get out of there, I'll angle myself in a way that my tires and that are kind of pointed that way. See, there we go. Left hand side, car. Yep, car. Important to know. Anyways, I think this is fantastic. Fantastic. Now, again, they do have the two options. The one option is that you can put it up here on your mirror if you so choose. This is the one I have, right? Which is I have down here because I just think it looks cooler and better, just slicker. Or you have the one for bikes maybe that are like that, right? That have that little neck thing up top that you can stick them on. Now, I don't have that, right? It would look silly being up here or down here or wherever. So this works considerably better. Anyways, I'll put links down below if you guys are interested. It's a fairly, it can be a really simple install. If you're just, installing it directly to your battery, which I probably wouldn't do. I want to make sure you have some kind of fuse relay or something like that, which is what I have. So it can be, a quick install. It can be a complex install if you're like me and have to take this whole dash piece off to wire everything underneath and all that kind of goodness. So, make it look as pretty as you want or don't. Again, depending on your bike, right? Anyways, that's it for me. Links down below to where you can pick this thing up because I do think, every one of us, more and more bikes now, especially like the new Indians, have all this stuff built into them. And I think it's a fantastic idea. So for those of us that have an older bike, really it's 2024 and older, not a bad investment, for sure. Not a bad investment at all. I think it's really good. All right, my friends, this is the Third Eye from Innovv, and money well spent if you're looking at being a safe rider and you want your season to be fulfilling and not be spent in the hospital or whatever. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to try to get out of this car's way, and we'll see you guys next video. Later.